Hello, everyone, and welcome. I am Lisa Brown, Independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator with InkandInspirations.com, and I'm so glad to be with you. If you are watching the YouTube premiere on Thursday evening, October the 14th, you can sign into your Google account and participate in the live chat with us. I appreciate it if you're here watching the replay of this. You can always comment below and ask questions, and I will get back to you as soon as I can. And I will also have this on my blog in a few days, and it can be watched there as well, and I'll have all the details for the projects. So I'm so glad to be here with you tonight. We're going to be making a Christmas card with a fun fold and a coordinating and matching little gift bag, and that would hold a variety of things, but it's a good size and just a fun little way to present a Christmas gift. So I've been going back and forth between Halloween and Christmas and trying to get all the things in, and this is my favorite time to be crafting for all these holidays and special occasions and fun times. So we're going to get started here in a minute. If you'd like, you can say hello and let us know where you're watching from. That's always fun to see. And we'll get started. I'm going to go ahead and put you just on my desk. And we're going to be using this beautiful Christmas season stamp set and bundle with these dies here that you see on page 18 of the mini catalog. And then I'm also using sentiments from this sister set, which is on page 19, and it's called Christmas to Remember. Okay, so before I really get going, I want to say that Pam Zorn is getting this card that I created last week, and she commented, and I do a random drawing to send a little something to you. So thank you, Pam. I'll be sending that to you. So let's get started. How about it? Okay, so the first project is this card. Okay, so let me untie it here. It's got a little tie closure, and it's got this little diamond element on the front that is so easy to do. And then here's the inside to show off this beautiful designer series paper. Okay, so let me put that aside and we'll get started. I'm going to work with the designer paper first, and it is 5 1/4 by 12. Okay, and then I am going to be scoring that at 2, 4, 8, and 10. Okay, I forgot to write that on here. Let me put that there. 2, 4, 8, 10. Okay, so that is the whole width of the designer paper. And when you cut it, you know, if there's directionality, you can look at it and see and make sure you cut it the right way, because it's going to be a portrait style card. So the up and down is going this way. This really doesn't have directionality. You can see there are berries going down and some pointing up. So either way is fine. Okay, I'm going to bring in my Simply Scored scoring tool and do that scoring. All right, get that straight for you. Okay, this is the stylus. It has a small ball tip and a larger one. We use the larger one on the designer paper because it's thinner, and the smaller ball tip would cut through the paper. Okay, so get the paper flush against the edge over here, and let's go ahead and score. 2, 4, 8, and 10. I was second guessing myself there for a minute. I thought, is that right? You know, when you make several projects in one day, it's like, okay, what were the scores on this? Okay, so now we have to do some marking, okay, with a pencil. And I'm going to need a ruler, and I have one somewhere close, of course. And so I'm going to line this up on each end and mark down from the top at 2 1/2 inches. Okay, so there's the 0 against that top. I'm going to come down to 2 1/2 and make a tick mark. Then I'm going to do the same thing on this side. There's 2 1/2. Okay, so now we're going to do some cutting. We're going to put it on our paper trimmer, and we're going to line up one end where the tick mark is and the other end where the first fold is on this outside edge. So that would be the 2 fold, the 2 score, and the 10 score that we'll be working with. So I'm going to get my trimmer in here, and I'm going to line up the tick mark right in the middle of that track, and then I'm going to have to bend this a little bit so I can see it a little better. Line that up there, move that where the end of that score is right in the middle of that track. And when you adjust, you need to check the other end. Okay, so we're going to make a diagonal cut. And I say check the other end because when you wiggle it, it moves the other end too. So now let's do the same thing to this side. I'm going to fold that. And you want to save these pieces, okay, that we're cutting off. I'm folding that at that 10-inch score and then putting the 2 1/2 inch tick mark right here in the cutting track, double checking, and let's make a cut. All right, and we're going to save these, and I'm going to turn this around, and we are going to fold this much like in an accordion fold. So that flap goes back and this goes over, okay, and then back with that cut flap, and then again over. And so you want to make sure you've got a matching top and bottom there, and that your middle folds there meet there in the middle. So I'm going to get my bone folder and give these a good crease. Okay, so now we have that. Isn't that pretty? So now to give the diamond look here on the front, we're going to take these and glue them right here on the bottom. You see how that's going to make that diamond? It's got the same pattern as the top. So let's go ahead and use some liquid glue. Give myself some wiggle room and line it up against the edge there. Okay, and then again on this side. I've seen this fold several times, and I always thought it had to be so difficult because I thought, how do they get the diamond at the top and the bottom? Then I saw my friend Lena in Canada do it, and it's like, there it is. That's how it goes. Okay. All right. Okay, so there we go. Now, you could use that as your card, but we're going to add a base to make it a little more steady. So I've chosen Real Red at 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. And I'm going to go ahead and glue that over top, and see how it gives it that pretty border around, and then it'll just make it a sturdier card as well. So I'm going to go ahead and put adhesive glue. You could use seal as well. I just like having the wiggle room with the liquid glue. So let's put this straight on my grid paper and then come down over top, and there we go. Okay. So I have done a lot of the die cutting already just to save some time, but let me show you the cuts and all the things, okay? I cut a piece of basic white, 3¼ by 4¼ and that is going to go on the inside here, and I'm going to do that last, okay? We'll do a little bit of stamping on that. Then I'll have to take out all these little pieces. You can use about a quarter sheet of basic white, 4¼ by 5½. You know, it's just a quarter sheet, the same size as this, to stamp and die cut these pieces here. Now let me show you these. These are little berries and some little greenery, and then there's a really pretty label. So I've used this stamp, and then the berries. And then for the dies, okay, you have your dies that cut out the stamped images, and then you have these great labels, okay? And there's one missing right here. I don't know where that went. But anyway, this one was for right here, okay? That was using that die. And then, let's see, I've got that. And then I used about a 3 by 4 piece to cut this larger die that's on the outside. So that's going to frame out that white piece really well. And then I used about a 3 by 3 to stamp and die cut this small pine cone. Okay. Now, for those of you who are not familiar with two-step stamping, I just wanted to show you that process very quickly. There's some ribbon there. That's 20 inches of that red ribbon. Okay, I've got a small piece here, and I'm going to get some early espresso ink and crumb cake ink. And I decided to go ahead and stamp on the crumb cake cardstock to make it a more realistic looking pine cone. So when two-step stamping, let me show you here, you have a more solid, more robust dynamic piece, and then one that is mainly like an outline or accents or highlights or even shadows, depending on what you want to call it. And so we want to do the more solid piece first, okay? So I am looking for my stamps. Should have had it all ready, and I thought I did. So I have the little, oh, they're right in front of my nose. So here we go. This is the more solid piece. You see that? Okay. Okay, so I'm going to do that in crumb cake. I'm going to stamp, ink it up, and then stamp. And with photopolymer, this is so easy to do because you can line it up, you know, just by looking at it. Now, this is the outline or the highlight or the shadows, okay? And I'm going to stamp over this. And you see how it gives it dimension, okay? So you have highlights and lowlights there. And then I would die cut that with a small pinecone die. And then there's one for the large one too, which I've already done those. We'll use that on our gift bag. So now I have this piece that I want to stamp my sentiment on. And I want to use Have a Holly Jolly Christmas. I love that song. Who is it? What children's show, Christmas show? Isn't it Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer? Or is it Frosty the Snowman? Oh, yeah, I got ink on that. Let me flip it. You know, where the little snowman sings, Burl Ives sings, Have a Holly Jolly Christmas. Which one is that? Is it Frosty or is it Rudolph? Okay, so I'm inking that up in red. And then I'm going to stamp that just in the center. Okay, got that. And close that. Move this over. And then I'm going to take the larger label, and that's going to glue on top. Now, on the first card, I used some stamping behind the sentiment. I think I might try it without it on this one just to see if I like it better. Okay? Not that I don't like the other one. I like to use, I call it shadow stamping, where you ink it and then you stamp off several times on scratch paper and then stamp. So it's a very light, almost a shadow looking image. But I'm going to try it without it on this one, and we can see which one we like the best. Okay, so let me get my card back in here, and I'll show you what this next step is. Let me go ahead and burnish this some more to get it to lie flat. This is going to go right there in the center, and we're going to adhere just this left side so that our card will open. Now, I used ribbon for the closure, so I want to put that on first and wrap this around and try to get about the same length of ribbon over here on the ends to tie. You can tie it in a knot or a bow. And really, you don't have to have the ribbon. You could do it just with the label on there. I just decided, I like ribbon, so let me try it. Okay, I'm going to take some Stampin' Seal Plus and just put a little bit down to hold that ribbon in place. Okay, and that's the only place I'm going to adhere that. So next, I'm going to take this piece and I'm going to just put glue halfway over, probably a little less than halfway, so that I don't get too energetic with it and get glue where it doesn't need to be. So let's do that and come, excuse me, come over here. I'm centering that. That's about where that S is in Christmas. And I also look at my label, and I'm just going to press down on that. Okay, so there you go. There's our opening, and that secures the ribbon. Now, I always leave, and I should have told you this before I put the glue on it, but I try not to get it too close to the edge because some of these pieces here I like to tuck behind the label. They don't have to be, but on this one I did that so that it wouldn't extend beyond the card edge. And so, okay, another trick, ask me how I know. Open it up to glue this so that you only glue it on this part here. Okay. Okay, I'm going to put that there, and then I'm going to see how that works. Make sure it doesn't go, yep, that'll be good. So I just put a little adhesive toward the bottom of that stem because we don't want it here. We don't want to glue this shut. Okay. All right. So let's take this one, and I'm going to put that over top. And again, I'm just going to put a little bit toward the bottom here. Put that on, and I want that just to stick on this side of the fold. I don't want it to stick to this part. Okay. And now I take my pine cone, and I'm going to put that in the middle. Just putting a little glue here on the bottom. Come down. Just be sure you don't glue it beyond the edge here of that diagonal, and you don't cover up your sentiment. So now I'm going to take these little berries, and I'm going to glue those mainly to the leaves that are already there. Okay. So I thought it just needed a little bit of color there. So I'll do that. So let's look at it now that we have that all together. Isn't that cute? And there's a lot going on there with the busyness of the designer paper, but you could switch it to this other side. You know, you could use whatever side of designer paper you wanted if you didn't want so much going on, but I like it. I think it's nice. Okay, and so here you can see the difference where I left off the stamping. I think I like this one better, but it's okay. Either one is fine. They'll both get used. All right. Okay, so we have that now. So let's do our little inside. And then what I did here, I'm going to get some scrap paper. And I'm going to open up these green inks, Garden Green and Evening Evergreen. Get those there. And let's do the Evening Evergreen. And then I'm going to use some of this foliage, and this is another little leafy stem. I'm going to stamp off twice. Let's see what it does 3 times. Yeah. Stamp off, and then I'm going to put here. Okay. And then I'll get this one here that we used previously, and I'm going to ink that up in Evening Evergreen. Okay. And then I'm going to stamp off a little bit, so I don't want to get my work surface too dirty. So I'm going to come over here like this. Okay. And then I just took my pine cone, and I know there's still a little bit of ink on it, so I blew on it, and I'm going to stamp right here. And then get the outline, blow on it to moisten the ink again, and stamp again. Okay? And let's see, I think I'm going to come down here because I don't want that white space. I like it. Move this out of the way. So let's go ahead and finish up the inside of our card. So that's there. And you can put a sentiment on the inside. I'm going to leave this one blank so that there's room to write. I'll show you the other one. I did stamp a sentiment on it. See how pretty that is? And then it stands up so nicely and pretty. See there? Okay, let me show you this one. May this be a Christmas to remember and cherish. And see, I have this stamped down in the corner. So whichever you like. Okay? What you think? You going to give that one a try? I hope you do. It's fun. And I love using the designer paper like this. It's kind of like it's the focal point, and these are just darling dies. I love them. Okay, I'm going to move that out of the way. I'm going to close this up and get ready for our second project. So, who's been making holiday cards? Anybody? Okay, I need to clean my hands. All right. Tie this up. And what I'll do is I'll be sending this card to somebody next week. Tie a bow here. You see that 20 inches gave me plenty of room to tie a bow. But you could tie a knot if you want, and just cut off the edges. Okay. All right. Let's get going with our next project. Okay. So here is the little bag we're going to make. It's coordinating with our card using the same elements. Okay. Just really fun. You can see it doesn't have a very wide bottom, so it's kind of like a pouch, but you could see it would hold a substantial gift. And I think I would love red tissue paper sticking out the top there. Okay, so let's get started on it. First of all, I used a piece of that same designer paper. It's cut 8.5 by 11, and there's some scores on this 11-inch side. It's 4.5, 5 1/4, 9 3/4, and 10 1/2. And then you turn it to what will be your bottom and score up 1 1/2 inches. Okay. I will have these on my blog, and I will link to it here if you're on YouTube in the description under the video. Okay, so let's go ahead and score this. Get the Simply Scored in here again. I know that I want this going up. The length this way, it's going to fold around to make the bag. Okay, so you want the longest side going across here. Getting my stylus again, and we're going at 4 1/2, 5 1/4, 9 3/4, and 10 1/2. And then, like I said, if your paper has directionality, you would want to choose what your bottom would be. I'm just going to turn mine around and score at 1 1/2. Okay, let's move this out of the way. Okay, so I'm going to fold on these score lines so I can see them a little better, and we're going to do some trimming. Okay, have this like this. So we're going to look at this bottom, and we have these two 9 3/4 and the 10 1/2 inch score there. It formed a little rectangle, and we're going to cut that off. Okay, so I'm going to go up and then across, cut that off. And then this center 3/4 piece here, okay, it's a narrow rectangle. You're going to cut that completely off. So we're just going to have the 2 tabs on the bottom. Okay, so now what I'm going to do, you can use Stampin' Seal, or you can use tear and tape. And I really prefer the tear and tape to give it a little more body, but it seems to have escaped me somewhere. So let's go ahead and use the Stampin' Seal Plus. Gosh, you know, when you're recording a video, there's stuff everywhere. And it's like, it's probably right under my nose, but I don't see it. So Stampin' Seal Plus will work. So will liquid glue. You're just going to have to let it set a minute, okay? But this is a strong adhesive too. Okay, so I put it right there on that narrow tab. Okay, then we're going to take this side and fold it over, and we are going to match the top edge and then all along the side of that fold. So want that to be a neat finish at the top. So I'm going to line that up and then come down this side, matching that folded edge with the edge of the paper. Okay, so you see how you have your little bag coming there. So now the seam is right here. You see how you can see that? Okay, so I'm calling this the back. So I'm going to take my paper snips, and there's no measurement, but I leave about a 1/2 inch or so, and I cut off part of this tab just to make it not so bulky. Okay, and this is going to fold up like that. But first, this makes it easier. You see these little edges here? I want you to take yours and, okay, and just press on it. Take this. It goes from like a boxy looking little pouch to more sophisticated. See there? Okay, so now I'm going to take this and I'm going to trim like that, just so I don't have anything sticking out beyond. And I'm just going to fold that up and put adhesive here. And again, any adhesive you want, but I would use something strong like tearing tape or Seal Plus, or wait for your liquid glue to dry. And there's your pouch. Isn't that cute? Okay, so we've got that. Now we're going to decorate the front just a little. So I have my die cut pieces ready. I've used the same die set. I used a 3x3 to stamp and 2-step stamp for this larger pine cone, and die cut that out. That's on crumb cake. And then again, about a 1/4 sheet of basic white, 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. Just give yourself plenty of room to stamp and die cut these, and then this label. Okay. And then about a 4 by 5 piece of real red to die cut the larger label. Okay. So let's go ahead and stamp the sentiment here. And I chose, may this be a Christmas to remember and cherish. And I'm going to use Evening Evergreen. My hope is that in sharing these ideas early like this, you'll have time to create some beautiful packaging and cards for the season. Okay, so there's that. And now I'm going to take the red label and I am just going to glue over the top there. So just like that. And I had thought I would use ribbon, but I really didn't need it after I started playing with it. And you'll see, put this here on the front. That looks pretty plain, but when I go to add my leafy pieces, okay, let me go ahead and get this glued on. So I just do it about in the middle of the bag. Center side to side. And then I take my, this is the smallest little piece. And I'm going to put that going up like that. And then this larger Evening Evergreen piece is going to come about like that. And this one we can put glue all over because we don't have to worry. It needs to stick completely. And then look at that, how that finishes that out. Isn't that pretty? I love these pine cones. Okay, just like that. And then I thought, oh, it needs something. So, tried and true, red rhinestones, right? Okay, and so let me pick these up. Okay, go over here on this side like this, and I'm going to put 5 of these on. And then put a little cluster of 3 down here. I'm going to show you a Halloween bag I did in a Facebook Live, just like this, well, made just like this. Okay, so see, isn't that fun? And would hold quite a bit. Look at that. Okay, and then our matching card. Okay, like that. So let me show you the Halloween. This one, see there? Same bag, but same pattern. But this one I made from cardstock, and I used designer paper on the front and the back, and then die cut and some black, little cute little spider, and that, look at that black glitter paper. Okay, So that video will be up soon. So I hope you enjoyed that, and I so appreciate you being here with me. If I can help you with anything, let me know. I'd like to encourage you to get your supplies sooner than later. With all of the shipping issues, we just don't know what to expect as we get closer to the holidays. So if I can help you with anything, please let me know. And thank you for watching. If you're not a subscriber, please subscribe to my channel so that you don't miss anything. If you'll click that little bell below the video, you'll get notification of my videos. So thank you again. Have a wonderful day or evening, and I'll talk to you again soon. Take care. Bye-bye.